I'm Emmanuel Rodriguez. I'm the majority leader of team number 5. We were voting on passing the legislature about guns on campus. In our committee, it did not pass because we were majority Democratic, and our beliefs are in the following.
Hi, I'm Ariel Trinkle, and I'm a Democrat, and I am against the legislation for guns on campus. Some of the reasons we believe that we shouldn't do this is the majority of the people, and if they've grown enough in their life to understand how to really have a gun, how to deal with that. Trust issues, emotion. People are very impulsive, and when they feel something strongly, they might act strongly. Some people think they need to leave it at home. There's uncomfortability with having guns on campus.
I'm Ronnie Chambers, Group 5, Democrat, and we have decided to vote down the legislation and mark it up to vote it down. Overall, even in the minority party of our group, we were all against it. There was one person for it and another person wavering for or against.
My name is Nina Tionan. I'm in team number 5 in the majority party, and we think that the legislation should not be passed for multiple reasons. The first being that if nobody has a gun, then there's not really that much of a risk. The risk is lowered for people losing control. And second of all, no one wants a stressed out and angered college student to lose control, because they're more likely, if they're stressed by exams and schoolwork, to lose control on somebody that might annoy them.
I'm Nick Eason, Group 5 with the Democratic majority. We didn't really have any trouble getting legislation through. We didn't have any trouble with our amendments. Once we realized that only 1 or 2 people were really for the guns on campus, we kind of just decided that we would make whatever amendments we felt were necessary to kill the legislation, and completely changed the proposed bill.
My name is Yasser Ali. I'm the Group 5 Democrat. I'm one of the people who are in between either voting for or against the legislation. Being an international student, I don't feel comfortable of anybody carrying a gun on campus. And as far to kill the legislation, I would rather amend the legislation in a way that allow international students as well to carry guns, which again doesn't make me feel any better or any good. So therefore I'm against the legislation. I vote and will amend the legislation to vote against allowing handguns on campus.
My name is Nathaniel Jacob. I voted against legislation. I'm a Democrat. Voted against it because there really are no benefits, only costs. It's going to be expensive to add security and metal detectors to campus, paying to train and license faculty and teachers, buying ammunition for faculty and teachers.
Hi, my name is Sushan Brody. I'm part of the Democratic Party, and I voted against the legislation. I did this because, as far as receiving the funding to support this legislation, we'd have to dip into the government money. And basically, if we did that, we'd have to raise taxes for all the citizens of the United States. Additionally, we'd have to increase tuition for certain public and private colleges, and in the end, make many students feel uncomfortable due to the problems with the economy.
Also think about people that are in depressive states that don't, what if they do have a gun and they carried it into class, and a simple impulse can trigger them to start shooting at everybody.
Hello, I'm Hunter Cannon, the Republican minority leader of Team 5. Surprisingly, the majority of our party is against allowing guns on Texas campuses. However, there are a few who do support it.
Alright, my name is Michael Contreras, and I'm part of the minority party for the Republicans. And I believe guns should be allowed on campus. One is for deterrence.
You want to call
with deterrence? We will have equal, like maybe the criminal who brings a handgun on campus might think twice before even pulling out a gun in front of many other people who are actually trained to hold a gun and to actually use it. With enough proper training, someone can actually protect civilians.
My name is John Victor, and I'm a libertarian voting for the Republican Party for the bill for guns on campus. I'm voting for the bill. Texas concealed handgun laws are the strictest in the country. Not only do you have to be 21 years of age to buy a handgun, you still have to be 21 years of age to get a license.
Because most of our minority party is also against guns, and so we try to convince them by giving them examples of how it would benefit us to have guns.
such as like in a classroom situation, if someone were to pull out a gun and like people who had guns would be able to stop them and stuff like that.
Okay, I'm Adana Nakoma.
And I'm Andrea Stevens.
And we're both in the Republican Party. We're in the minority. And when we were asked if we were able to compromise with the majority party, there was no compromises like needed. When both parties had taken a vote like together, whether we were for or against legislation, a majority of us said we were not for it. So it made it a whole lot easier. And for myself, a Republican, I was against the legislation, even though most Republicans would be for it. But I'm also in the minority group, so even though we were divided by ideologies, we were also divided within our partisans. But only like 2 people, in our party were actually for it, so it made it a lot easier.
So that being said, all the revisions that we put to our legislation were pretty much agreed upon by the minority party. We agreed with the majority party that legislation should be passed. So we agree with all the revisions that were made to the legislation.
Personally, I don't support it. Having been an avid hunter my whole life, I've handled many guns. I've taken several gun safety education courses, and although there is a possibility if we had guns we could stop a potential shooter, there are way too many negative things that could happen if everyone was allowed to carry one. I don't trust people my age with guns unless I know they've been around them and are well educated enough to handle one. I mean, what if one of these students comes into class with a gun drunk or under the influence of drugs? The risk seems much too high for the reward.